Welcome back to our kitchen. Now we promised you that we'd do some things for heading back to school. Eek, like you've only got 2 days left of wearing your pyjamas all day, and then you've got to get the kids back into the car and off to school. Now I know some of your mums out there are cheering, but I know the teachers are in mourning. So today we're going to make Sandy biscuits. You go, what are Sandy biscuits? Sandy biscuits are just chocolate chip biscuits found in the old Edmonds cookbook. It is like the bomb recipe, it really is, and they taste great. And if we can get this sorted out and Brooklyn doesn't talk too much, then we can make hokey pokey biscuits at the same time. No, not the same time, after this. So I've got 150 and I've got a recipe. Hang on, look, I'm going to show you so people don't go, please, can you tell me what they are? Can you see that? That's your recipe, okay? Don't say I don't give you anything. Right, there's 150 grams of softened butter in here, and I'm going to put 1/4 cup of, I use raw sugar, it makes me feel better about myself, and it's caster sugar because it's easier to beat up and easier to dissolve. So I've got this in the bowl, and I'm going to beat it up with my 2 odd beaters. Look at that, can you see that? Yep, we went to an activity. And Auntie Mo has one of mine and I have one of hers, but it still works. I think we've had this combination for a couple of years now, and we'll get around to getting our beater bit back. Just beat it up. If you haven't got a beater, just whip it, okay? Whip it for about 5 minutes and you'll be able to see the change from a yellow colour to a lighter colour. It'll go quite light. So I'm going to add I'm going to beat it up first, and then I'm going to add my other bits and pieces. So see you in a minute. We've beaten it up for probably about 3 or 4 minutes, and it's changed colour a little. And I'm going to add in, I'm looking at the recipe, see? About 3 tablespoons of...
It still wasn't that accurate.
Yeah, it was about that. 3 tablespoons of condensed milk, and what else do we need? A few drops of vanilla essence. About that much. I'm using the Pohara version, the cheap version, because I'm too tight to get the other stuff. And what else am I chucking in there? And some baking powder. But you know what? I'm not going to put baking powder in mine because I don't normally put baking powder in. So I'm not going to do that. So that's it. I'm going to beat this up a little bit more. So I've got my 125 grams of butter, 1/4 cup of caster sugar or sugar. If you've got normal sugar, that's fine. You just need to beat it up for a little bit longer until it dissolves in the butter. I've got my condensed milk and my 3 tablespoons of condensed milk and my vanilla essence. I'm going to give it another beat for another 3 or 4 minutes and then add my flour. Okay, the flour, now I'll tell you that in a minute, so see you soon. See how fluffy it is. See, nice and light and fluffy, that's what we want, okay? Just makes for a nicer biscuit. Now I've got 1/2 cups of flour. Flip. Got some stuck in there. Oh, heck. Okay, 1/2 cups of flour. I'm not going to quite add it. I'm not going to add it all because some flours are a bit more absorbent than others. So yeah, we don't want to make a dry mixture. Oh shoot, now I need to add the chocolate chips. Now it says to add 1/2 cup, but like we need more chocolate chips than that, don't we? So I've just got a pack of, what is it, 200 grams. Chuck that sucker in. Mix it up and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute, okay? Okay, so this is what it looks like. All ready for you to pass on to your kids to roll into balls. Now, I don't know how many this will make. This will make probably about, it's quite a sticky mixture actually. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. So it's not quite so sticky because you've got to be able to handle it. This will make about maybe 24 biscuits. But if you're going to make Māori biscuits, it's going to make 12, all right? So this is great for lunches, remember? So you can mix your dough up, cook your biscuits, and then when you cool them down you can stick them straight into the deep freeze. Perfect for lunches, because then you're not going to nosh out on them at night and they're not going to be gone by the morning. And you can just in the morning grab a couple of frozen biscuits and put them straight into their lunch boxes, because by the time they eat them at lunchtime or morning tea they'll be perfectly fine. So it's a great way to control your eating habits with your bikkies and get some stuff ready for nice easy biscuits for lunches. So this will take about 5 minutes to mix up, well 5 maybe 10 minutes max to put into the oven from way to go. Okay, so we're going to roll them into balls and then we'll show you what they look like in a moment. Oven's on at 180 degrees fan bake, and we have managed to make 25 little European biscuits. So just put a little bit of flour on your fork and then just press them down like that. No brainer. Okay, these will make a crunchy chocolate chip biscuit, not a gooey one. I'll give you a gooey recipe another time. But these ones are great. I remember going out once, going to, I don't know, my husband and I went away for the evening and left our teenagers in charge, and they made themselves this big batch. Were you here?
Yeah.
Yep. A big batch of cookie dough with chocolate chips and made themselves crook as dogs eating it. It's like, good job. So I found the evidence in the fridge the next day in the green looking blooming teenagers when we got home. So that's as good as that gets. I'm going to chuck it in the oven and just keep an eye on them. Should take no longer than 10 minutes to cook. Okay, let me put these in the oven, then I'll show you how the next lot go, eh? She's got cookie dough all over her fingers. Show your fingers. Oh no, she just licked it. Okay, right. So, do you see these little stripes over here on the butter? 50 grams for each one, okay? So I need 125 grams of butter. Aren't they clever? Aren't those Europeans clever to do that? Right. So 150 grams of butter, and I'm going to soften it up in the microwave again. Just makes it easier to beat. And then I am going to add, it says half a cup of sugar, but we might go just under. Let's go a third cup. Okay, again, makes me feel better about myself. Okay, so all you diabetics out there, shame on you for watching this. Shame. So I'm going to put this in the microwave and then I'll be back in a few minutes, eh? She's still feeding her face on the beaters. Okay, right, we've got the butter here and a third of a cup of sugar, and then it tells us to add a tablespoon of golden syrup. So there's a tablespoon of golden syrup.
You're the worst.
Yeah, but it does the trick. And then I'm going to beat it up. So I haven't even washed these because it's just butter and sugar. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to beat this up until it looks fluffy. Take me about 4 minutes, and I'll get back to you soon. Okay, that's been beaten up with the beater. Don't forget, if you haven't got a beater, it's not the end of the world. Just use your arm. Okay, you can do that. Just beat it up with your arm. Right, so we've got our sugar, we've got our butter in there, we've got our golden syrup in there, and now we need a little bit of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking soda. Oh, that's not good. Right, teaspoon of baking soda. It's not a heap teaspoon either. Chuck that in, and then a cup and a half of flour, just like we did before. So let me mix that up, and super easy recipe, okay? This is what we want. We want no-brainers, super quick, and you are going to be the mother of the year or the father of the year because you've made homemade biscuits. Now, we're back onto the school over here, and years ago when our kids used to go there, I can remember hanging out my washing and hearing my son say to his mate, "We don't have real biscuits, we have these," and they were homemade biscuits. So I started buying bought biscuits, and he thought he was cool, but now, you know what? He'd scream for homemade biscuits. So anyway, homemade biscuits it is. Let me add the flour. I'm going to roll them into balls and show you what they look like when we finish that, okay? So give us a few minutes. I added a cup of flour, so lucky I didn't dump it all in at once. I've only added a cup of flour and it's already absorbed everything that I need. As long as it's not a super sticky dough, and I should be able to roll it up like that in a ball, should be fine. Okay, so that was a cup. Yours might take a little bit more because all the flours are different absorbency. Okay, so let me roll this into balls and then I'll show you what it looks like after we have pressed gorgeous little fork marks into them. We've rolled these out and put them onto the tray. Notice that there's not 25 of them because Brooklyn did the measurements for these. And look, these are hers. What are these, Brooklyn?
Yeah. Māori proportions.
Yes. Shame on you. Shame on you. So these are our biscuits. Look, it's such a simple recipe, and people go, oh yeah, hokey pokey biscuits, but mate, they are the shiz. They really are. And every time I've made them, they're just a total hit because they're so easy to make and they taste really, really good. If you haven't got golden syrup, I'm pretty sure it'll work with honey. Well, I hope it works with honey. Give it a go. Give it a go. You could use honey and you could add like a little bit of cinnamon to it and make some honey and cinnamon biscuits. That'd be great. I'm going to chuck these into the oven. Don't forget to use your baking paper unless you like to wash dishes. If you do, then that's great. Otherwise, you could recycle this. They go, what? Recycle it? By lighting your fires with it, because it's going to be laden with the oil from the butter and things like that. So it'll be a good fire starter. Let me put these into the oven. The other ones are cooking still. We thought that the oven was on, but it wasn't. So they're going to go into the oven now. The other thing that I was going to tell you as well, remember I only used, a cup of flour. I'm really hoping that they're not going to like crack themselves and spread all over the place. They possibly could, so that's my disclaimer. Always follow the recipe when the parkers give you recipes, follow the recipe. Okay, so I'm going to put these into the oven and see how we go, and Brooklyn's going to cook her generously portioned Polynesian biscuits as well. Okay, see you soon. And voila! Chocolate chippy biscuits. Now, if you have a look at these, and you can see some of them are brown and some of them are a little bit white. That's what you get when you forget to put on the oven. Okay, so heat your oven up first and then it gets there evenly coloured. These ones are done as well. And they're just both are really super easy. That was half an hour, and we've done 2 batches of biscuits that you could, again, have a few with your cuppa, and then when they've cooled down, put them into ice cream containers or bags, Ziploc bags, and chuck them into the deep freeze so that you can just pull them out. Some other good ideas for lunches are chopped up carrot sticks and chopped up cucumber sticks, and make your own hummus. What other idea did we have? Oh, if you get an apple, you know how some of the kids don't like to eat them when they've gone brown and things like that. Chop them up into quarters and don't core them yet, and put them all together with a rubber band and put them back into lunch boxes. That way they won't go brown. They won't oxidize. I think that's the word, oxidize. They won't go brown. Anyway, so these are some of our ideas that we've got for lunches. Super easy ideas. The other thing that you can do is also you can make things like egg sandwiches and chuck them in the deep freeze and freeze them and pull them out and have them for lunches, so that they're all ready. All you have to do is just grab what you want and then what the kids want and then go. If you have to get packets of chips, you know, the small packets of chips that cost an arm and a leg with the packaging, and which I'm pretty sure is probably made out of plastic, then get a big bag of chips and put them into a container so that you can wash the container again, less packaging, and way cheaper than buying the individual packets of chips. And they'll probably get more chips in a container than they would in those little wee bags. So this is us for today. I hope you guys are well. I hope you stay dry, because I tell you, looking out there, the weather looks like mud. And we'll see you in a couple of days' time. My husband said that we should be making Afghan biscuits, so we might try those next. Yes. Have a great day, and take it easy, eh?
Oh, it's still soft. Yum.